After much anticipation and many nights of racket polishing, we finally got our hands on Mario Tennis Aces, and we're here to give you our thoughts. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from Switchforce. Gabe is here, and boy, oh boy, did we play some tennis, putting in more hours and more matches than I think either of us thought was possible in the first night. We played all the characters in the demo. We've played tons of tournaments. We've practiced all the shots. We have tried to master some tips. And we're here now to give our impressions on this upcoming Mario Sports title.
Yeah, over 80 matches. I just checked literally just now. I think it's like at 83. God, I definitely did not expect to play that much. I did not expect to like the game as much as I do. It's such a good time, and it fits in perfectly with Nintendo's already existing catalog on the Switch.
I think it really is a great middle-of-the-year game. To me, it's almost like the turning point for the second half of 2018. We know that it's going to be loaded with major franchises, more third-party support, and just a whole lot of highly anticipated, very awesome games. And this one can be grouped in right alongside those others. I freaking love it. I think the best testament, and this goes for both me and Gabe, our thumbs are bruised. I think the nerves in the tip of my thumb are like just borderline ruined because those charge shots take so much out of your fingers.
Yeah, we both kind of told each other that last night at the same point, like, dang, like, these fingers hurt. and I couldn't identify it right away. You said it's because of the charge shots, and I'm inclined to believe you. I have no proof of anything else, but yeah, my right thumb really does hurt because of this game, and I hadn't experienced that since I was a child, so kudos on them for bringing that back.
It's just because you want so badly to like move the shot as much as you can, hit with a little extra power, serve that ball wide, and then you end up pressing the buttons way too hard. I've been playing Pro Controller for 90% of my matches. I think I've played just north of 50, a little bit less than Gabe. But I also played handheld, and that was a great time. I think the game is awesome and looks great in both form factors. I'm really impressed with how visually appealing the game is, and it's not just because the character models are great, but they do such a nice job with the colors, with the clean presentation. It just feels like such a polished effort.
Yeah, I played every single match except one with the Pro Controller. I did one in handheld just because I wanted to see how it looked and how it performed. Looks and runs beautifully, handheld as well, so kudos on that. But yeah, I'm with you. Like, some of these animations, especially the Waluigi like moonwalk thing, that's something that like stands out to me. That's like just like so cute. So things like that, there's a lot of attention and detail in the game. Of course, we're not seeing any of the other courts or anything like that quite yet. We have this one thing in this online tournament, but even like I said, the character animations and the way they behave, it's so detailed and so great.
Yeah, I have very few complaints. I think that there's more depth here than maybe is revealed initially, and I don't know how they would incorporate it, but some sort of way to teach you even deeper tactics and tricks would be really cool. But, the new stuff that they added in terms of the zone shots, the trick shots, I really love all of that stuff. It becomes such a consistent part of your match-by-match gameplay, and I don't feel like it's intrusive. I've seen some people say, like, gosh, can't wait to turn all that stuff off. But for the most part, and for me, like, I like the way that they have evolved the gameplay. And I think it just fits perfectly between being like a very hardcore, straight-up tennis game and by being something too goofy like we've kind of seen from some of the recent Mario sports titles. Like, this just hits the sweet spot of being very skill-based, having some fun Nintendo elements, but all the same feeling like a very intense and addictive experience.
Yeah, the competition, it gets so intense. One of the reasons why I won't play in handheld mode is because I don't want to break my Switch. Like, the Pro Controller can take a beating. Like, you can like slam that thing on a desk and be okay. You cannot do that with the Switch, so I'm not even gonna risk that. But yeah, no, I agree with you. It's a really good time so far. I have a question though. What character is the one that you find yourself using the most right now?
So the demo has 9. My favorite's probably Rosalina. She really has so much spin on the ball. She's a tricky character. I enjoy that a lot. My arch nemesis, my enemies are definitely the power characters, which I know are your favorites. So I have to figure out either a way to beat them or join them, because that is just where I come against the biggest obstacle. Literally.
I really think Rosalina is your issue. I used her once. Like, I did I do not like the way she feels, like her movement speed, and like, yeah, she can like curve things a little like nicer and stuff, but yeah, for me, power characters is where it's at. Spike, for some reason, is the one that resonated with me the most. I don't know if it's a combination of his like size plus the slight, and I have no way of knowing this, but I think he maneuvers a little quicker. I mean, it would make sense because he's so small in comparison to Bowser and Chain Chomp. But yeah, Spike is the one that I like the most. I think that getting his trick shots is way easier to do than some of the other characters. But yeah, Chain Chomp and Bowser are easily like tied for like second. All three of them I could use and feel totally comfortable with and hopefully do very well with. Besides that, I do think Waluigi and Mario are my other favorites as well. So like half the roster I really like. My least favorite has to be, and I know this is like funny for anyone that's been around the channel for a while. I think Toad is useless. I do not like Toad in this game whatsoever. Besides that, yeah, I wasn't a fan of Rosalina either. Yoshi, I know you don't really like very much. So yeah, I think that's how we're feeling.
Here's what I was going to ask you. Do you think that the characters matter a lot? You know, as we sort of dive a little bit deeper into the game, do you think that it's a lot of surface level fluff, or do you find that your playstyle, your just sort of flow of the match does change up depending on who you choose from that roster?
Oh, it definitely changes up, especially with the Waluigi thing, right? When I'm using Waluigi instead of a powered character, I definitely change my playstyle a little bit. When using like Toad's movements, and again, I have no way of knowing if this is all in my head, but I don't like the way Toad moves. I can't like really get the timing for his trick shot, and of course, me playing with him more often would lead to mastery on these things. But for now, Toad and Yoshi seem to just not be for me. It's something with the movement, and Yoshi's a speedy character. Toad, I believe, is also speedy.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's that. Like I'm so used to powerful characters and they're slower. So I think I just got too used to that. Mario being well balanced and all around, I feel like he's just not as quick as them, and it's that quickness that I can't deal with. And the thing is, I don't know what kind of quickness it is. Is it like, hey, you just like move faster, just like regular movements? Is it like your trick stuff is faster? Like, since I don't know these like nuances, I'm steering clear of them for now. I don't want to completely dismiss them. Maybe right. Once the full game is out and we are able to spend more time with them in a better environment, because I don't think like playing these online tournaments is very conducive to mastery of these characters. Like again, just Toad to me doesn't play super well, and I have seen that sentiment echoed. I've seen tweets about like, hey, like, why is Toad so useless in this? Like, I've seen those, so it's definitely not just me.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of nuance and more than maybe any of us were expecting. You know, in the Wii U era and on the 3DS, they kind of simplified a lot of the Mario Sports stuff, and it feels like it's back here. We haven't had a chance yet to play story mode. I'm hoping that is a really cool time, and from the impressions we've seen from some of the press, like, it really does live up to the hype as well and delivers a lot of variety and a lot of good practice. It's one of those games for me where it's such a perfect fit of, like, it's frustrating because you want to do good, and it's addictive because you want to do good, but it's not upsetting. I don't know. I feel like it's very fair. There aren't any mechanics or elements that feel stupid. Like, even those super shots, right? The special moves. If you time it right, if you get good practice with zone speed and managing your energy meter and positioning, like, you can block them back. You can have a chance. I don't know. I feel like they just balance things incredibly well, and the moment-to-moment controls are really top-notch. I could see how, though, if you're not as skilled, how this demo would be a bit of a turnoff, because, like you mentioned, Gabe, the competition is fierce, and I feel like there is a huge spike once you reach not like an actual spike, but not like the character spike, but like a difficulty or a challenge spike once you reach the second, third, fourth rounds of these tournaments. Whereas, remember, the full game, like, you are going to be able to practice a lot against the computer. You are going to be able to go through story mode. You are going to be able to play against local friends who may be more at your familiarity level with the game. So if anyone is like, God, I'm just getting brutalized, like, don't worry. We definitely have those matches too where Gabe and I are getting smashed off the court.
Yeah, I find that, like, getting to the semifinals is, like, relatively easy. Man, I don't know how people are winning these things against some of these people. Like I saw Bill Trenton, like he tweeted that he won one of those. I was very impressed by that.
Dang, Bill.
Yeah, I was super impressed by that. He definitely has some skills. But yeah, I've been to the finals 3 times, haven't won a single tournament. Like I'm like right there. Sometimes I can even like be competitive for a bit. But yeah, I will say, like, my saving grace is, like, I am losing to people with, like, 20,000 points. So I think so much of it is, like, hey, play the game more, learn more, and you'll be able to adapt and do better.
Yeah, positioning is critical here, and we covered a lot of this in the tips video. I'll put a link in the description if you want to see that, in terms of how you can better use your energy meter, how you can better use the star markers, how you can better counter shots. But the one thing that I think just comes to time is like that positioning. And I played a lot of tennis. I played 4 years in high school. And I don't know if that's to my advantage or to my disadvantage that I am trying to employ some of those tactics or consciously trying not to employ them. And I kind of wish like I could wipe my mind, because I do wonder if that's having an impact. And I also wonder, like, I tried going left-handed because I am left-handed in real life for a while. And it just, I don't know, it seemed to like screw with the flow. And I don't know if that was just in my head, or if it's actually there's actually an impact of like, okay, if your forehand is slightly stronger than your backhand. But I love it. And what's cool is this is just one court. This is just one tournament. This is just 1/3 of the roster. And it's already this much fun. It's a bit of a bummer that this is going to go away, that this is only a 3-day thing. But there is a world where, like, if this was a permanent demo, like, you kind of just play with this. But regardless, like, I'm glad the full game is soon. It's 20 days away, and it's weird to like a tennis game this much. Like, I'm super impressed, and I'll be very curious to see how sales pan out. Like, is this able to sort of cross that threshold of not just appealing to sports tennis players, but also just appealing to like Nintendo game fans, Switch game fans? Because I think it's good enough where it deserves a look. Like, it's good enough where it deserves a chance, even if you don't know or like or care about tennis.
I hope it finds an audience. I don't have the history with tennis that you have. I know next to nothing about it. I know you got to hit a ball back and forth. That's about it. So all these little intricacies that you mentioned that you're familiar with just from playing in high school for 4 years, I don't have that baggage. So yeah. I don't have these like preconceived notions of how things should work, things like that. To me, like, hey, it's just like a fun like Mario Tennis game, and I think I'm all the better for that. Honestly, I do think that you're affected in some way, whether it be a positive or a negative. I can't speak to that, but there is something there from you having this history with tennis. I hope it finds its audience, but I'm also confident that even if it struggles a little bit, which I don't anticipate it doing, I think it'll review well. Nintendo's been supporting stuff so well, even ARMS, right? A game that a lot of people say is dead. We don't think is dead at all, but even that still has those things. Where, what are those called? The party. Oh my god, I'm blanking out right now. You got
Party Crash.
Yeah, the Party Crash thing. Like, they still do that. They still have these events for games that maybe aren't as big. We see Splatoon still get Splatfest, and I'm sure that this is still gonna have the tournaments. Yeah, so I think it'll be good.
Is there anything you don't like about the game? Is there anything that kind of rubs you the wrong way, or you wish that they had changed or could still change?
And I struggle to think of anything that I don't like. I mean, I can't say it's a perfect game. It's a demo, right? So what we're playing with is so limited. We're not touching any of the meat and potatoes of what the game is. A story mode is something that I'm super curious about. It'd be great to have the full roster, but yeah. Other than that, I guess I'll touch on this. People are complaining about servers and them not being dedicated and this being a peer-to-peer connection. Because if you connect with somebody that doesn't have the best connection, you're going to be impacted by that just because that's the nature of the way it works. So that is something I've seen people complain about a lot. Yesterday, when I was playing the demo before it was out in the US, there was like a bunch of issues. But, I was also playing with people from Japan and Europe, and the servers were, we're connecting them and they're the ones hosting. it's so far away and there's issues as far as that goes. But since it was open to the Americas and all other regions, it's been mostly fine for me throughout today. So I guess that's the only thing. If they can make sure that the communication between servers is better somehow. But again, keep in mind, it's a demo. Maybe they weren't expecting this many people. I fully think that they'll be fine for launch. But yeah, that's my one big thing.
Yeah, I have had a couple of matches that just feel so off, and sometimes it's very noticeable, like, okay, the guy's just not even moving, and then sometimes it's this strange input delay where it feels okay, and then it doesn't, and it's not an enjoyable experience. Mine have been, I think, fewer and far between than yours have, but I have seen some people say, like, gosh, it's not working for me. In terms of, like, changes, I think one thing they did really well that is sort of hard to put a finger on is the time that the matches take is, like, prime. They don't take too long, but they also aren't too quick. Like, you really, I don't know, I'm always impressed how many matches I actually get through, and I think that's why those numbers like 80 and 50, like, holy crap, they're so high. It's because they're quick about it, right? There's not a lot of loading. Even the special shots, they're just the right time, where they could get annoying if they were dragged out a few seconds longer, but everything just kind of flows. You get in, you get out, and you get through, and I think that's so critical here. It's like an intangible aspect of game design that I don't know if they consciously balanced or it just subconsciously worked out that way, but it feels near perfect in terms of how long the matches take and how many you can get in, even in like a half-hour play session.
Yeah, I mean, some do go by super quick though. Like, I mean, I'd be lying if I said like there wasn't like times where like someone is just like new and I just like demolish them right away, right? 'Cause it's best of 5 unless you win 2 first, and then that's all it is. So sometimes it does go quick, and it stands out so much when you reach that level where like, hey, you guys are like tie. And, you know, then it becomes like 1st to 7 or whatever in that last round or set. I don't know tennis terminology, excuse me. But every once in a while, one of these matches like drag on for so long, but that actually just makes it so much more intense because you've been investing so much time on this one, and you definitely don't want to take that L. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. I'm surprised. This is something I'm very excited for at this point.
A lot of people were really ready for this to be great, and it seems like it is. And one thing I do want to point out is you don't need to know tennis or terminology to be good at this or enjoy it. I think me and Gabe are a great example of, I'm no pro, but I did play, like I said, every year of high school, and I, went to state quarterfinals in California and all that stuff. I love it. Gabe knows very little about tennis. He asks me, like, is this a game, a match, a point? What's going on here? What the shot where, it has a lot of spin, and he's doing just as good and having just as much fun.
Yeah.
So don't feel like your lack of knowledge or your lack of experience with tennis is going to negatively impact you at all. I think this is a game that really can transcend the specific sport that it's representing.
I mean, here's a perfect example, right? Like, Zach calls them like slices and what's I don't even know what the other ones are. I go by color. I say purple, red. I say purple, red, and blue. That's where I go off of these things. Zach calls them by the proper name just because he's more familiar with things like that. So they do a good job with that, like color coordinating those things in that way was very smart. So yeah.
Absolutely. I'm sure we'll have a lot more to say once we get to play the full game. I hope the story mode only enhances Mario Tennis Aces rather than disappoints, because right now the core gameplay is just so pure and so perfect. And this gives me a lot of hope for the future of the Switch in these kinds of games. Mario Strikers, please come back. Mario Party, please do it with this level of love and care. And please just get us that review code. We want to play the full thing as soon as possible. Let us know your take on Mario Tennis Aces if you've been playing it. If you haven't, you can go grab the demo for free now. Everybody on Switch, every region, can go play this weekend. I definitely recommend trying it out, even if you thought it wasn't something that you would like or was on your radar. This is one of the most fun experiences I've had on Switch. And just get some Band-Aids and some ice ready for your thumbs, because they are going to be hurting. And we will keep you posted with more Mario Tennis Aces. And make sure to subscribe to stay updated on all the latest and greatest from the Switch and other releases like this one. Will be at E3. We hope that you'll join us. So make sure to follow us on Twitter and Discord for all of those updates and details. And until next time, I'm going back to the courts. I got to try out some power characters. Gabe says they are where it's at, so I'm going to give that a go. and we're gonna wait to battle it out. That's something that's my change. I wish this demo allowed me and you to play against each other, but we'll have to wait for the 22nd for that one. In the meantime, everybody, thanks so much for watching Fantastic Day. For myself and Gabe, Switch Force out.